Now we will directly go to the Keel demonstration as such. So just go to the Keel icon. So once you installed the MDK or Microcontroller Design Kit, double click onto it. So it opens up. Okay. So once I have closed the previous projects as such to make the thing simpler. So once you are done this, now I'll say I will open up the new project, new Macrovision project, and it asks for the location where you want to store the project as such. So I will choose a particular directory where I want to store that. Okay, then I want to store it in MTech Lab Cortex. So here for this experiment I want to create a new folder and I will call that as so there are two again. I'll call that as experiment 2. Okay. And whatever the project I'm creating, I have to store them, or all the files relevant to that will be stored in the experiment 2. So I will just say that maybe your first homework is about adding 10 numbers in assembly and displaying them onto the LCD panel available on the board as such. So and hence I say that sum 10 and LCD. So this will be stored with respect to Macrovision project extension, and we say save. And right now it is asking for a target. So it says software packs, which includes ARM and NXP. So what it is stating is basically these are the series that are available. 1768 is the IC we are using. And if I want to code for any other legacy device means LPC 2148 kind of devices, then you have to install the legacy package. Then NXP or Philips will include that LPC 2148 stuffs. Otherwise, directly it is not available. There will be one more package that you just have to add on. So if you want to use 805, again you have to make the same stuff. See, if I just type LPC 2148, so it is available. So ARM7TDMI is what I'm stating is the processor architecture say 7TDMI, and these are the peripherals available. Okay, so 7TDMIs. If I just go to, so there is one more ARM available here. So it states ARM7 and ARM11. So if I just say ARM7, it's only mentions about the instruction sets that are available. No peripherals are listed. Something similar happens even in the Cortex devices. So Cortex devices are enlisted, or these Keel supports for that Cortex devices, for that matter Cortex M series. So just to note that KLXS series and LPC17, these are the series that are being supported. So ARM is basically whenever I want to code for Cortex M3, when you just click onto that and this is a device for which you want to code that, there are no peripherals listed for this. So whenever I click onto the foundry based, so this is fabless company, and once I say code for a foundry based 1768, sorry, either you can click to the tree or you can directly type over here LPC, sorry, 1768. So if I click onto this, now the I2C or code reader, so all the peripherals will be listed. So the alarm, whiteboards, whatever it is. Okay. Once it is done, okay. So now next option is how you want to manage your runtime environment. Basically, whenever look into the peripherals as such, it is running. So there are initial configuration required for that ARM devices. So that means how fast I want to run my AHV devices, the bus speeds or the clock frequency with which you want to run your ARM core, and memory accelerator, and where will be your reset, all the exception blocks. So what are their addresses, and how do you want to plan your ROM or memory maps with respect to particular architecture. So they have to be designed, and normally whenever you go for for that, startup.s was the code that was included in even in whenever you were coded for the ARM7 devices, LPC248 kind of devices. So I just want to include startup devices, and it says that you required is a CMSIS core also should be included, and we say that okay, no problem. So CMSIS core is also included. Now it's green. So that means there was a tree dependency for startup code, and hence once I include core, everything has to be turned green, and I say click OK. Okay. So fine. Now there is a doubt of what is a CMSIS that has arrived. Basically, CMSIS stands for the Common Microcontroller System Interface Standard. Okay, Common Microcontroller Software Interface Standard. So what it includes the packages or libraries that are available. So you want to include all the device drivers, so a driver, or you want to have the APIs supporting for M4, M7, M3 kind of say Cortex M, or you want to have a standard API which can speak to OSs or the runtime APIs of the so it is because it supports OS architectures, or the RTOS versions. So or DSP you want to run. So all these are made as standard packages, and whenever you want to use them, you just have to include that. Right now we are not going to do any of the such kinds, but still that has a major impact or support for us to do the stuff. Okay, what it consists basically, what runs first is normally what is running is your startup.s. Okay, whenever you open up a startup.s, what is running is, so you have mentioning your stack size. So this is how the code looks like, or assembly code if you are fresh to it. So you are defining a area, and this is your label space. So label space is the first space where whatever you are writing is regarded as a label. Okay, so next is area. You are defining a area. It's a command for the assembler or directive. So the area name is stack, and it's non-integer type, initialization type. So here you can read and write. Alignment is basically normally byte aligned, word aligned, and so on. The stuff will come into picture. So whenever I say alignment is the, if I use say byte aligned, and I'm using only one byte, so the code block uses only one byte for that matter, and remaining will be padded, because the ARM architecture normally whenever we say 32-bit architecture is using 4 bytes together. So next word has to be the fresh address. So PC increment and decrement is automated, +4 or +2, so half word or full word aligned, and hence how you utilize the aligned statement. I'm just stating the thing. So it is as good as your hash defined kind of architects in C, so it's equivalent. So whenever you say stack size, you are really mentioning this particular address. So you are mentioning where is your stack, where is your heap, and how you are using them, and the areas. So the exception handlers, reset, non-maskable interrupt, hardware faults, software faults. So whatever are relevant or handling, they are included over here. And here you call say reset handler. That means whenever my system starts, there is a procedure. So export reset handler means, so this code can be called by any other function anywhere in the code. So there may be, it may be called by the so right now only one C code is there. So system lpc17xx.c, it may call it. So because it is exporting that. Import system init means that is not written in this assembly code. It has been, it must have been written in somewhere else. So whenever I click onto this, so this code includes a system init function or system init. So once you import that, there is also one more mention of import main. Main function is where you are writing an application. So .c files. So adding 10 numbers, some 10.c, this is what you are including there. So what have happened automatically is whenever I included a device startup code, so RT, so we are not coding for any real-time applications or real-time OS, and hence it is not taking place. Otherwise we have to again modify that reset handler will go to this real-time applications. So once is you have called on OS, now it's the job of OS to take care of things. Right now we are not going to OS kind of architectures, so only startup.s is there, and there is system initialization normally written in C. So whenever you just check out the system initialization C or the system init.c, what is happening is you are configuring the clock, you are configuring the say clock setup, or the USB or the flash setup, that is your memory setup. So all can be configured. So one is you modify the values in the code, or directly you go to the GUI based kind of architectures. So then you can type it. So choose whatever you want to do. So if we initially we are not aware of all the system configurations, anything you want to modify, you are not say 1 megahertz 20 megahertz is my clock frequency, or it is 15 megahertz 25 megahertz, anything you want to modify, you can modify it over here. That will be replicated into your code. So that is a configuration files. So CMs is automatically imbibed, so there are some additional files will be taken by the compiler, and that are instructed, or whenever you compile for it is compiled for the optimizations. We just check out the target options. There are a few more corrections that has to be done. So we have taken LPC 1768 device, that is correct. So crystal megahertz, normally it has to be taken from the board manual or the board. So 12 megahertz, that is more than sufficient, I think. Normally it is correct. And these are the internal ROM and RAM addresses. So IROM, so 8000 or whatever the number. So RAM and ROM address, two RAMs are there, and they are automatically filled with respect to the device you have chosen. Okay. And I want to create a X file. Ultimately you want to download this X file onto the hardware and then check whether your things are working for you or not. So then create X file, that is fine. So there are list files and language syntaxes. We are not touching any of them. Okay, so strict NSIC, or I can change or manipulate with respect to languages. What we are touching is, if you are configuring or you are creating a new board for which you are configuring the read and write address, yes, that is fine. Otherwise you are using a board that is already fabbed or prepared as such. So there will be inbuilt code, so which can speak to the kill devices through some architectures or debug mechanisms, so that it will automatically fill out the where is your ROM and where is your RAM addresses, and then it will prepare a scatter file for you. Fine. So scatter file is a memory file that you want to prepare. So then definitely this is one change that has to be done. So we have chosen a LPC 2148 code. Whenever you compile, it compiles, you build, it builds, but whenever you want to execute this or the debug that particular stuff, it is not going to debug if you are not choosing a simulator, and these files have to be changed. So whenever it is saying processor architecture is CM3 is Cortex M3, but your specific architecture is LPC 2148. So for that they are mentioning the DLL files, and that I have taken from the net again. So I have to just showcasing that. So 1768, I have to copy this. Once you know that, it is easier stuff. So DRAM, and that is DLL file is drmp1.dll, that I will copy paste it over here instead of dcm.dll. So to very specific architecture. Then next is minus p lpc 1768 parameter. Okay, so once I have done this, close. Okay, now it is ready to include your source files. I am not writing any source file as such, I am just demonstrating. So I will take whatever is readily available. So add existing source files. So previously I have done. Okay, I will go to experiment 1.3. So we are basically interested in sum.c, which can includes the main file, and there is some LCD panel or the configuration that has been done, or the functions, because ultimately you want to display the sum onto the LCD, and hence I'm including LCD.c. We'll see that later part. So we'll add that, and there are dependencies for these files, and that have to be invariably added. Okay, what are the dependencies? So LCD.c uses LCD.h, and LCD also includes some library files or libs.h. So these are the header files written by the user. So whenever you say hash include, so normally they are included from the installation directory in the inc directory of that installation directory. LCD.h and libs.h are for see ASCII to, so hex or hex to ASCII, because ultimately you want to display some character onto the LCD panel, and the LCD panel normally displays the ASCII characters as such. So whatever the results you have got, that has to be converted back into the ASCII characters, and some routines for that are available in libs.h. LCD.h is basically how do you initialize the LCD and everything relevant to LCD. So initialization, writing a command, writing a data word, all the relevant functions will be in LCD.h. We'll see that as well. And sumtime.s is basically an assembly code which is called by your main function. So that is sum.c. Okay, so I included them. So they were in experiment 1.3 as such. Now I have included all the files. What are the files I have included? lcd.c, sum.c, lcd.h, libs.h, sumtime.s. So we'll start with the main functions. So you are including 17xx.h. So angular brackets means it will be fetched from the installation directory. So where is the installation directory? For just curiosity's sake, I will just click on here, and so this is my C key v5 ARM. Okay, so then inc knxp lpc17x6. So .h, this is where that particular file is available. So this is fetched from the installation directory. That's what I wanted to make it clear. Any file other than that, so in your code, so normally the double quotes one should be present in the working directory. What is meant by working directory? My exp2 is my working directory. That file has to be there. So what you are doing, that extern void sum10. So what is meant by extern keyword is stating that sum10 is not written in this source file. It has to be fetched from some other source files. So it is totally unaware in the compile time from where it is being fetched. In the link time it becomes aware, right? So extern unsigned int globar or the global var, it's also declared somewhere in other than the source file. Okay. So this is a variable declaration. So he has declared global variable outside. So he is stating that, and here also he is declaring one global variable, and that can be used anywhere else. So whenever you say external. So int means it is calling system initialization function. So system initialization function is not available or not in this source file. So if he is including lpc17xx.h, I feel that it should be available in lpc17xx.h as such. Then system10. So system10 is a function as stated over here. It has to be fetched from some other source file. So we have said that sum10.s is the assembly file which is being fetched over here. Okay. So then LCD disp globar or LCD disp is a function which is not written over here. So maybe it is written in lcd.h. So at compile I'm just showcasing the ready-made functions for you, right? A ready-made file for you. So then what happens? You call while one. So it is running infinitely. It's an embedded application. So normally it has to run infinitely unless you start including a keyboard and things change their flow as you press your keys as such. So once we have done this, if everything is correct, so once I compile this, it has to compile. So 0 errors, that means compilation is correct. Compiler used 5.06. So you should be aware of the compiler version because a delay and other routines change their flow because it depends upon the clock frequency in the board. So it depends upon the compiler you're using. Okay, and the routines, how you are using the routines. So three aspects will definitely affect the delay, how the delay is generated, and hence compile is one of the aspect of that, and hence you should be careful about. If something is not working and previously it was working, normally it is with respect to your delays, you have to check out. Now build options. So what is compilation? Compilation just checks for the syntax and semantics errors, and build normally builds. So you should find the definitions for all the variables, functions, whatever you declared. So and fill out with the readily available addresses as such. So that is what is meant by link. So whenever you have linked, now you see that there are additional files that are being added. So you need not worry about that because they are taken care by the CMSIS architectures. So it will speak about the device architectures, whether you are using a 7, 8, 9, how that has to be combined and how that has to be optimized. So somebody is giving you the ready-made stuff, you just take it. Okay. So compile, how do you compile, how do you maintain the versions? So then standard integer or the So this is also included from some other header files. What you have included, you should be readily available or aware of that aspect. Once you have done this, just close this CMSys. I'm showcasing this because you can go inside the functions and just check them. Okay, we'll go for debug. Okay, so as we have stated, initially it has started from the startup.s. From startup.s, there was the import man and bx the branch with exchange with respect to that particular registers. R0 was holding the jump address. Now the R0 was exchanged with respect to PC, and hence you are into the main function now. So whenever you are jumping into the main function, so if I just click onto the system init, okay, so where we have jumped, so we have jumped into system lpc17xx.c. so this is where the system init function is written. So this is .c file that we have included. So this is the configuration file. So what you are doing, you are configuring the clock setup. So you just run it, so step by step. So these are the LPC underscore SC or the clock select one or registers. So normally whenever you say that LPC17xx.h, so all the system architecture, the variables or registers are normally configured with respect to that. Normally there will be exact memory location for them, and that will be somewhere hash defined or defined in that particular header file. Later part you will be just using them as and when you start coding for an application, right? So coded, so this is configuring. This configuration you have to write it, or at least you have to understand whenever you finish off your course with respect to the embedded architecture or Cortex architecture. Right now I'm just configuring. What he's doing is he's just generating a clock, and there is some multiplication factor and division factor, so that you configure the clock for the different aspects. So what I am stating is that the AHB, APB, AX are different bus architectures. So this Cortex M3 is having at least AHB and APB, and you have to configure for them. Now sum10 is calling a function. So it's a location that is showcased over there, and you can also note that main is from 0x00. So the location or memory location, or you can just directly type it over here and just check out where it is being jumped. Okay. Sum10, you jump into this particular locations. Whenever I execute that, automatically you will be taken to that hex file. Fine. So sum10, whenever I say that, so sum10 was available because sum10 label is written over here. So this is what I have imported in my C file. So import global variable declared in your C file is imported over here. What you are exporting, so D value, double value, or this is a D value that is declared in the data that is being exported. Okay. Uh, okay. What is happening? You are moving 10 into R1 and 0 into R2, then repetitively add R2 plus R1. So current intent of R1 with the result of R2, and decrement R1 by 1 every time. So unless R1 becomes 0, you will be in the loop. Once R1 becomes 0, it becomes BE. And that means normally whenever you say branch not equal or branch equal is checking your 0 flags. Whenever 0 becomes high, you are out of this loop. So then what is in R0? So address of global var, now that is loaded into R0, and you store R2, the final result, into R0. So you are passing the summation, whatever you have computed, to the global var, and jump onto the BXLR. So there is a link register. What is meant by link register? Link register is R14 register. Normally I'm checking the ARM7 architecture. Cortex also link register is so whenever you jump. So there was a caller function, so which called you. So next instruction of that caller function will be in the link register. Now you are branching from this function to back to, so it is as good as return. So you are returning from subroutine from here. And note that whenever you are declaring area data, and data 1 is a label, data is a type of memory you want to check out, read write is the area, 0x00 is just whenever you include this, whatever the number of words you are declaring it over here, because you are stated a DCD, so there will be DC W and DCB can also be used. The define code byte, define code word, and so on. So half word, full word, everything can be defined. So it is always better to define code words. So that means you are using 32-bit numbers. So whenever you are defining that, compiler takes care that it is assigning. So D value is assigned to a particular value or an array, and that is only noted for that matter. But actual values, whatever you declare here are dummy values. So really you want to get into there. So you just type in this D value. So move R1 equal to D value. So something like global var, and get that memory address over here. And in this memory, type this memory address and manipulate. We can manipulate that memory addresses and then read write. So go on step-by-step execution, and you can see that what is happening inside memory. Right now we are see, if I say that 0x00, so these are the byte codes, or of course whenever you are checking these numbers 9406, they should be somewhere available over here. Okay, so you have to directly check with respect to which memory location and what is being stored. 0A10, that has to be stored somewhere with respect to this memory location. So the initial memory map, whatever you have stated. Similarly, D value or the data memory also will have some value. Now I am not doing it, so it is given to the discretion of compiler to assign the data value, and depending upon the linkers settings whatever you have made, so some memory location for the data is also assigned. And to manipulate that, you have to double click and then type it somewhere. So it is a code memory I am manipulating it, hence it is not going to affect. If it is data memory, you change it, then run your show. Fine. Right now yes, where were we? Okay, so there are R1 is A. Whenever I just repetitively call this, what is happening is it is decremented and some summation is computed in R2. Okay, 1 0. Now Bn is abrupted. Global var. So R0 is, this is the address where that global var is stored, or global variable is stored. Now you want to manipulate that R2. R2 is what is that, 37 or something, so I'm not able to make it out. So this address R0 address has to be changed, right? So what I'm stating is just I will quote this over here. So right now it is not there. After I execute this, something should be changed. Okay, 37 appears over here. So that's what I want to showcase. So then BXLR, whenever you click onto BXLR, so branch with exchange link register, now you go back to the initial function. Now okay, it has executed already. So there was LCD display function that has been called, and now you start running LCD display function. Now there is a LCD initialization function. Okay, so LCD initialization starts dealing with what has to be done. So for that you should know the LCD architecture. I hope you know that, but otherwise I will just brief it. So there will be data controller, register select and enable. So data control is how do you want to feed the data, and register select is whether you want to write into the command register or you want to write into the data registers. Whenever any transactions you are making, that has to be catered by the EN or enable. Okay, so you should know the 23 to 28. Why this is because these are the pins that are connected to your LCD panel in the board. Okay, so you change the directionalities. What is meant by directionality change? So whenever you choose the peripherals, so right now we are FI 0 direction, so I would say core peripherals, or say GPIO interrupts port 0. So I am manipulating that pins as such. Okay, so if I started that, so I executed that, then the ticks started appearing over here. So that is the directionality change. That means you made them as output pins now. Otherwise by default they were input pins. You have written 1 into that bit positions and such, making that particular pins as output pins. So how to clear ports, then why 3200 delay for clearing LCD? For that again you have to go for the LCD manuals as such. Okay, Okay, 16 cross to LCD. Then there are pins. What are the pins available in LCD? That's a ground, VSS. There's a VDD 5 volts or VCC. Contrast adjustment, so that backlight adjustment, that is V0 or VE. Then register select. So uh, as I stated, either you are writing to the command or data word. So then read write pin, so that is what is your DW or data word, data control was stated over here. So 0 is write for, and 1 is for read mode. So why read mode is required? Because whether the LCD is busy or not can be checked out. So again, for that, again you have to refer the data sheets. So E, for any transactions you are making with LCD, you should enable that. Okay, D0 to D7 is 8 pins available for the data, most oftenly to reduce the board size and the connectors. So only 4 pins or lower 4 pins of the LCD are being used as data pins, and there is arrangement for that, command words, which for which you are stating that you are using, you have to state that by writing some command, you are using only 4-bit mode. Okay, so what I stated was, whenever you issue a command, so 001 or this is the command word. So there's an execution time, so minimum and maximum execution times that are being showcased. So 1.64 milliseconds. If he states that I should give sufficient amount of time so that LCD configures itself for that. So clear display happens only after 1.64 milliseconds. So return home. So else cursor has to return home, or the returns the cursor to the home position or address 0. This will take somewhere around 1.64 milliseconds or 40 microseconds at the minimum. So these are the time delays that has to be given. So whenever you are reading the LCD, so some transaction, some command you have issued already to display or shift the cursor, something of that sort, and then you want to read whether it is happening or not. So then you can check out with respect to read aspect, that is buffer busy, reads busy, a buffer flag. So once you have know the individual bits and how they can be configured, so this is the command word, or the which is stated over there. What I was stating about is function set. Say whenever you say that 4-bit 2 lines 5 to 7 dots, so to display one character, so you're using 5 cross 7, or 35 dots are used to display one character, that is what is meant 5 cross 7. And normally LCDs are catered with respect to 16 cross 2, that is 16 characters of 2 lines of 16 characters. So entry mode display, and you want to flash it, you want to blink, for everything there's a hex keyword. And if you are choosing a particular LCD's data sheets, and there will be some delay elements, something similar previously as I showcased, you should be give that sufficient amount of delay so that it makes that happen. Okay, so here in this case, he has used LCD panel, and that is what is meant by clear ports. So data control is whether you are writing or reading. RS is for register select, enable is enable. So put S is you are writing something or putting a string onto the particular aspect as such. Okay. What are to be done, or I don't want to showcase it in a stepwise manner. Just I will run through that some steps. So what happens is you are clearing ports, then so some delay happens over there. Okay, it is delay, and hence I have to wait till it becomes enabled again. Okay, so it is run, and you want to note the delay as well. Now you can say that execution profiling show time. So how much time it has taken, somewhere 160.60 microsecond was what was the parameter passed. You just correlate that 3000 and some number. Okay, and finally to data sheet, what was the real requirement of the delay as such. So then why 19 and other architectures. So basically he wants to pump that 30 into the command word 30. So what is meant by command word 30 and what is meant by these delays is to be conveyed, or has to be explained with in collaboration with the data sheet. So what is happening is, basically you have to write configure, you are using 16 cross 2, that means 2 lines, only one line, that line to the cursor position has to auto increment as you just go on pushing the next lines on it. So all that is being configured with respect to lines. So once you have done that, So again delay, configure that. So whatever you are typing will be available onto the LCD because you are dumping onto that values. So you just want to showcase or know that where the things are happening as per my request. So then you just check out with the bits. So these are the bits where you are writing into stuffs. So what is happening is basically I will just run through the files because demo takes more time. So whenever you look into LCD.h, so what are the files? So you clear the entire screen, bring the cursor back position to 1. So start with me to attempt the what is it? Taking commands. So whenever you say write command is being issued. So you have to configure the LCD for um, 4-bit lines, that is 28 command line has to be issued, so that again whenever you are issuing a command, so the command is issued with respect to only 4 bits. So that means lower 4 bits and upper 4 4 bits and upper 4 bits. So nibbles that has to be conveyed, and appropriately your write signal, so register select has to be manipulated. So you are writing into it, that is manipulating the data control. So you are speaking with LCD, then enabled. Then what happens, whether you are reading or writing is data control, and register select, so you are writing into command. So uh, RS register select has to be 0 for command word, 1 for data word, and so on. So you are clearing display, delay, LCD, so you are writing some delay routines. So LCD communications, whatever you want to check how it is done or why it is done. So all these files will be written in LCD .c. Okay. So what is being done? So you are writing a delay. So what is meant by HC data? You are taking a upper nibble, pushing it, write data word, then take a lower nibble, again push it. So again write the data word, so command. So then delay LCD, so that the command has taken. Okay, so this is for data word. So splitting of the nibbles and things. So similarly, command or the writing command will be write command ಅಂತ. So what is changing is enable and set bits. So whenever you are writing a data word, it is for data register, or command word, it is for command register. So clear ports ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ put yes. So you are putting some message. What is a message? So here is a message, some 10 is. So next is last word, you are putting the summations. So global var will be putting over there. So configuration, so 20 through 28 is pin is configured, and pin select 3 is basically to configure that particular pin as HGPIO. So there are other functionalities that has to be indicated. So you can just make it out. For one pin there can be 2 bits in pin select 0. So stating that there are can be 4, maximum 4 functionality that can be assigned to a single pin. So there are 32 pins if I say that. So 16 pins can be assigned by one pin select register. Okay. And how many ports are available? As you stated, whenever you go to debug mode, so there were 100 pins and are mapped into, if I just go for peripherals and ports like a say GPIO fast input, say there are 4 ports. Okay, 32 into 4, if you can just make it out what is the number. So it should be well within 100. That's a verification. So then we also stated about libs.h. Libs.h says that ASCII to hex, hex to ASCII. So these are the conversions. So these are the functions that are written. So ultimately, if not provided, you have to write it so that you are playing around with respect to LCD panel. Fine. Once you are done with respect to this, so all the verification has been done and everything is correct, and you just check out that folder. Okay, so this was a folder. There should be some hex file whenever you have built it, and you can download it using a flash magic. So again there is a manual description. Say experiment 2 is one we have done is, and then say objects. So then debug. Okay, there should be, I'll just recompile it. Say target, options for a target, output, sum 10 LCD. So this should be the name of the hex file that has been created, and I will search for that. So it is in experiment 2 itself, right? So this is ARM executable file. So exec file is your the file that has been created. So in normal LPC 148, I think it would have been a hex file. Now it is called as a hex file. Sorry, yes, hex file is also the same name. So AXF is ARM executable file that can run onto the machine, and the hex file is what you are going to download onto the kit as such. So sum10lcd.hex is the file that has been created. So you can change the name whenever you modify your code and you want to build a new hex file for that matter, and just give a new name. And on the same folder you may have different variants of hex files for that matter. So I feel that would be sufficient for today's lab as such. What reading exercise has to be done again to recover is basically you should know the LCD programming. Again, reading the LCD datasheet becomes a huge aspect, and then how to configure. So write mode, read mode, configuring mode, say initialization of LCD as well as initialization of LPC 1768. We are not doing much, but it is better always read that particular codes whatever that are being run whenever you go for a step-by-step executions. So whenever you are jumping into execution, so again just note that, so explore the other options like debug. So execution profiling, I said show time, show calls, how many times a particular function is hit, or step over, step out, so that somewhere some function I just want the output of that function, I don't want to go into the internal details. So step is, so it will go to system init, and in system init every line can be executed. So I just don't want to go for there. I just want to come out of that system initialization. So now it has executed system initialization, but I am not going in details. If I wanted in detail, then you have to go for step by step. Say sum 10, I'm interested in it, then I will click on sum 10. Okay, now you are jumping to that particular code and go line by line execution as such. So I will share this code and the next code as well, and it is up to you to practice it. Any doubts, you can message or mail. Okay, thank you.